into the Torq Hub PODCAST. Find us on all your favourite podcast platforms or watch us on YouTube.
Well, first we've got to apologise because it's the 1st of September, which means we didn't record a podcast in August, Kurt.
Does that mean we have to do another one at the end of the month to make up for it?
I think so, yeah. I guess, well, that can be the bonus. You get 2 this month, one at the start, one at the end. Well, that's what we'll try for anyway.
Yeah, let's aim for that.
No worries.
Let's see if we can find something else to dribble shit about in another 4 weeks, 3 and a bit.
But for now, this is episode 11 of the Torq Hub podcast. Whether you're listening on your favourite podcast app, watching on Spotify or YouTube, we are back.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired. Man is tired.
Man tired. Man not hot. He's tired. Fucking hell.
What about you, mate? You've been spending a fair bit of time on the torch, but not necessarily with car stuff. You've been building yourself a new set of gates.
Oh, yes. A new set of gates that I've been putting off for... look, I'd be embarrassed to say, actually. I'd be embarrassed to say, but a long time. I am an expert procrastinator, so it's something I'm working on. It's like my mid-year to late in the year resolution. Try not to be a fucking lazy dog. Nah, so it was good. Bit around the house.
Yeah.
The old joint, it gets run down, man, when you any spare second you get when you're not, spending it with the wife and the kids or friends or whatever. It's like, oh, we've got a project that we need to get some hours on so we can film some videos and get some cars done. So the old house, she falls by the wayside a bit. So.
Yeah.
And I've done that for years and years, so I really need to get back on it. So, yeah.
Yeah, your gates have been in a sorry state for a while, so it's good that you got a new set knocked up.
Yeah, so I've just got to get my mate Brad to paint them up for me, and then it'll be another couple of hours maybe tinning her out and fitting them up, and it'll be a beautiful thing.
Nice.
Yeah, so, yeah. How's that? Starting off the podcast talking about gates.
Yeah, I do feel you though, because like you say, when we do spend so much of our spare time doing this.
Any spare time almost.
Yeah.
Not.
I'm definitely noticing that my yard is looking pretty wild, and I'm just like, okay. And the longer that you leave it, the worse off you are for it. Like, it's just, instead of spending an hour here or two to keep it up, now it's like, okay, now I need to dedicate a whole weekend.
Yeah. Now we've reached shitbox status.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's all right. It is what it is, huh?
Yeah, man. Yep. But we do have another video coming out on the low cut fuck truck very shortly. We've just about finished filming it. New set of coilovers. Happy days.
Yes.
Much needed, and it did give you exactly what you needed in terms of room.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm really impressed with them, actually, to be honest. I can't wait to get a set for mine now, because I have a set on this, but they're just some old and Petters ones, and they're maxed out as low as they can go, and they're still not low enough for me. And I mean, they ride okay. It's a Commodore, so I don't really give a fuck how it rides, but
Yeah.
because they're going to ride like shit anyway. But I guess with some Shockworks, that'll probably remedy that situation somewhat. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we did put a
mate.
bit of a call out. I sent a few messages to some people that I knew that were sort of in the game, so to speak, for recommendations on a coilover company. And, some people have got some varying opinions or reviews, but for the most part, we got a very good reception for the guys at Shockworks and hit them up. And not sponsored. This is not a sponsored ad.
100% not sponsored.
But they did supply us with a good set of coilovers.
They looked
with
after us.
Excellent service. Definitely could not rate them higher. So do rate them. So look out for that video. That'll be coming out very shortly. Maybe the day after this or 2 days after this podcast.
Yeah. I'd heard about Shockworks. Actually, I was going to say it's a funny story, but it really isn't. A fella I worked with many years ago, Dave, was he's a fitter, and he is from over that way somewhere, and he's actually was friends with him. I think they raced. He raced, what do they call them now? I've forgotten what that. Some open wheel racing anyway that they do.
Okay.
And he was into that, and he goes, "Oh yeah, my friends, people I know do this Shockworks thing, and you should get onto them, you know." try and sell their stuff or whatever. This was years ago. I think when they were just starting out, maybe, or I don't know. But anyway, Dave mentioned the name to me years ago, and then I watched a video probably a month or so ago, and I can't remember whose video it was, but George from ProFlow was featured in it, and it was on his VS Commodore, the one with the Barra in
The
it.
Nomang, Project Nomang.
Yes, that's the one. So if you've watched Full Boost, you'll know all about it. Pretty
Yep.
sick car. But anyway, he had a set in that, and the fella that was test driving it actually commented how well it rode. So that's sort of what sparked my interest.
Piqued your
somewhat.
interest, yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was good. I'm keen to see how these go once we get it on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. No, should be good. Got to say a big shout out to all you legends who've supported the new merch drop so far.
Yeah.
It's been out for about a week or so since we announced that. So you've got under 2 weeks now to get your pre-order in. New design, pick your poison.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah. It was your brainchild. Well, you described it to me. I sort of put it down on a bit of a napkin and you went, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then we fired that off to the guys at Short Batch, and Lauren, she knocked it out of the park.
It was painless, like obviously for me, because it was sort of my concept, and then obviously you brought your things that you do with pictures and fucking doing editing and all that all that cool stuff. So we sort of got it to a rough concept, and then Lauren turns out, because they call it a comic style,
yeah,
and just so happens to be that Lauren there does a lot of comic book stuff,
Yeah.
so it worked out
Professional.
perfectly. So it was very seamless. If we could get a design like that, we would have a lot more, I think, don't you? Would that be a fair assumption? Or
Yeah.
considering we've been sort of reluctant to do it for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we've got experiences under our belt that we'd probably rather not talk about. Well, when it came to merch and design and being charged far more than we thought we would and whatever else, but
You live and you learn, don't you?
yeah, it was once bitten, twice shy. But now to go through this process with an artist that knew what they were doing, got it done in a reasonably good time frame for a reasonable price, very happy.
Yeah, it was sort of like you sent through what you did on your phone. She sent back a thing that was like, this is roughly what I'm thinking, but the images were sort of generic. We found some other images exactly like what we wanted. She converted them over, and that was it. It was sort of
Bang.
I think we got 3 goes at it for the price of what, you got 3.
We got an initial concept, and then there was going to be 2 alterations included in the price. And obviously, you can do multiple changes to one alteration, but just to get her to go there and rework it was one. And we, like you say, we got the initial concept. Yep, love that, but can we change X, Y, Z? Bang, second hit, got it, loved it. Yeah, super stoked.
Really happy with that, and I'm also honestly pumped on the white standard shirt as well. It pops good.
Yeah, and it doesn't get balls hot like a black shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are hella pumped on the new merch, and if you haven't seen it yet, do check out our previous video or check out the merch store. Like I say, 13th of September is when we cut off pre-orders. I don't want to harp on about it too long. I don't want to be selling.
We're not beat the dead horse. It's a pre-order. So whatever you get, we will sort of order, and it is what it is. So yeah, we're just happy to see people wanting to wear the shirts. Pretty much, first and foremost, that's the coolest thing. Really.
Yeah,
the fact that someone would actually want to pay their money, and we understand. Me and Jeff both understand. If you're putting your hard-earned money on a shirt, money's hard to come by sometimes in different bits and pieces.
Agreed.
In these times, you don't necessarily have to go and buy that shirt. So anyone that does, we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we love the support.
We can't wait to see people wearing them out and about. It's going to be sick.
For sure. And if you do have merch on pre-order, or if you've already got some and you're out and about, someone gets a snap of you, upload it. Tag us. We'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Would be cool as.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you got to talk about tonight, K-Fizzy?
I don't know.
Anything super interesting?
Not really. I know you always ask in the segment what gets me on the chip.
Well, save it for that.
Well, I could. I mean, I could just blurt it out now.
Well,
Or do you have something for the chip?
yes,
Because
I
you
do.
usually do. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you get on the chip. What's on my mind and what's been happening recently is pipes bursting in the wall of my house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking great. Having a kitchen, getting fucked around by insurance. They've been pretty good, actually. I won't lie. Shannon's have been pretty good. All my stuff's insured through Shannon's.
Shout out
Not
to Shannon's.
sponsored. Could be, though.
Yeah, not a sponsor. Could be.
So, yeah, that's just what we've sort of been dealing with the last week and a bit is, not having a kitchen sink or kitchen cupboards. And plumber came today and fixed the pipes finally. So, yeah, it's just a shit show all round, really.
You're just living the dream.
That dream, bruh.
Do you know who is living the dream, though? Actually, I'm going to play the jingle.
This week's hot topic.
That's hot.
This week's hot topic. Well, it's one of many topics. I think we've got a couple that we want to cover tonight. But I've got to say, massive shout out to Connor Begley and the crew from Black Magic Race Cars. From our previous podcast, they shipped, I'm going to call it the Torq Hub Tirana. Fuck it. It's the Torq Hub Tirana now.
Claim it, eh?
Yeah, it's got our sticker on it.
All right.
It was our idea. They did all the work, but fuck it.
Oh, jeez.
Blackyeard let us have it. They shipped it over to Sydney and they went to Kenda to do the 8th Mile Radial over there and won the Outlaw 275 class. How good.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. How good is that?
Yep. And really, that car is an underdog.
Oh, 100% undergunned in every aspect.
Yeah.
Well, in horsepower anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not in every aspect.
That's not
in
to
the
say-
one aspect, horsepower, really.
Yeah. And that's not to say it doesn't make power because, I mean, she making some steam, that old horse. But, yeah.
Oh, as far as race cars go, if you're using stock blocks and stuff like that, you're undergunned for sure.
And that is something that we're a big fan of is, doing more with less.
Yeah. That just like makes it that much more impressive. It just goes to show what you can do when you've got the right people working, basically. You got a good driver, a good tuner, good chassis, and just good help all around,
Yeah.
When you've got dramas and everyone just digs in, fixing transmissions and whatnot, like that's how you get it done.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah, huge credit to the whole team, really.
That's it. But to, join, there was a few cars from WA that went
I
over,
was
actually.
about to say that. I think the WA flag was flown very, very well over there. So anyone that didn't go missed out, us included. It would have been fantastic to go over there. We should definitely try to get over there and check it out.
I think we say that every podcast for some event somewhere over east that we
Just
we got to get there.
Anything we should go.
Yeah. But nah, super pumped on that, and you guys should be super proud. So shout out to the crew at Black Magic and the Begley family Racing. Super pumped on that. But I also did see, I'm just going to check my notes here, but Kenda are doing Carnage in the Cane Fields in Mackay. I did say something interesting. There's going to be a 10K Sugar Daddy 275 shootout. $500 buy-in, 16 car field. How cool would that be?
Very.
I think since the Street Outlaws thing happened and there's been a growing interest in, 8th mile racing in Australia, I think it'd be really cool to see more of that kind of thing. Good payouts for races as well. Because you got to think, I'm pretty sure they won 10K for winning the Outlaw 275 at Sydney. But you got to think, getting the car over there, getting all the people over there, like 10K barely scratches the surface. Like it might
100%.
cover the transport costs.
Yeah, it's lucky no one's doing it for the money because
Yeah. But it would be cool to see, more events that are putting on those, decent, giving that incentive for drivers and for racers to want to go. We saw it in Burnouts, obviously. Who was it? Power Cruise. They were putting up a 100K burnout contest. That kind of fell over.
It never made it, did it?
Nah, because they didn't have enough entrants. But it's just good to see that people are trying. I reckon it's good for the sport.
Yeah.
To get more bums on seats, cars in staging lanes. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah,
on
it's the bums on seats thing, really, isn't it? There needs to be, a vision of a decent ROI for any sponsors that want to get on board to be sort of contributing to payouts or prizes or whatever,
Yeah.
So I think Stevie Fast does a good job of like explaining how you do that, and it's with like building rivalries. Like people are either going to love that guy or hate him, but they're going to want to go and see him get beaten or win. You know, that's the sort of. I think that's probably where the Street Outlaws guys sort of get it. Like, you know, although maybe some of it's a bit over the top.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what gets people there.
There has to be that character in the narrative, you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be someone that backs themselves enough to be like, all right, I'm going to be the villain, and I'm going to tell everyone that I'm going to bust their ass when I get up to the starting line. And then, like you say, someone's either going to love them or hate them, but when they're polarizing, that's what generates interest. That's what generates.
You can be that, but you've also got to be able to back it up as well, because otherwise it just doesn't work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of people that can talk shit, but then not really. It sort of fizzles out quick, whereas if we can get something that grows and...
Yeah, backing yourself isn't enough. You do have to produce results, but that's not necessarily going to be consistent. There is always going to be someone out there that's bigger, badder, faster, more money, whatever, you know, but... to have that person, that character, I guess someone that's going to own that character, that's probably what's going to help really push the sport forward.
Yeah.
That's not to say it's going to be us, because we can't afford it.
And even if we could, we're not smart enough to go that fast anyway.
That's right.
We'd have to pay everyone.
Yeah. And that's...
you got to keep it fun.
Yeah, for sure. But nah, I thought that was really cool. I'd love to see the guys do some more Kenda events.
It's just a fantastic story, really, for like how new the car is and just, you know.
Yeah, if you are a long-time listener, you'll sort of know how it came about. And, like I say, it's an underdog car for sure, but it's producing results everywhere it goes. Put Murden over on the trailer.
Yeah.
You know, like winning Outlaw 275 at Kenda. These are big milestones.
I think that that Street Outlaw stuff's going to be getting some air sometime soon-ish, I believe. I've seen Webby posted up something the other day saying that it was getting aired like shortly or soon or something like that. So it'd be interesting to see how the footage comes out, and, you know.
I wonder where it's going to be aired. Is it going to be on like a free-to-air thing, or is it just going to be Discovery on Foxtel?
I have no idea, dude.
Yeah,
the amount of seasons of Street Outlaws I haven't watched is quite long. So which is weird, like, really. Like, I thought I would have watched them all by now, but I don't know. I sort of just dropped right off ages ago.
Just to go on a bit of a tangent with that, Big Chief not being on the show anymore, do you think that's going to have a big effect? Obviously, the No Prep King thing, I think, has probably overtaken what the series was, because that's got that element of you can go to the track and you can meet them and you can be there. You know what I mean? So there's that real fan interaction where you didn't have that with the OG show.
The monetization there is just off the charts, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's good because the fans get to go there, see what it's all about. You can watch anything on the TV.
Yeah.
It just cannot compare to going there in real life. So I think I like it. I like the fact that, you know, and plus you got to think, all these like tracks all over the country and now the world, you know, how much money do they get to make?
Yeah,
that can then, you know, update the facilities for all the local races that are going there all the other weekends or whatever. So everybody wins.
Yeah,
really.
But back to my original question, I guess, was now the Big Chief's not on the street
OG,
racing.
They call it the OG show.
Yeah. So the street racing show. Where do you think the future is for that? Do you think it's going to go downhill? Because for me, he was a very pivotal part of it.
I really like. I
was about to say the same thing.
I watch his YouTube channel and stuff, and I really like the way. I just like him as a person. I've listened to him on podcasts before, and he just seems like a really down to earth, cool guy. You know, like he's. Fuck, no one's arguing that he's straight. Like, he ain't straight. Like, he's probably too straight for his own good. Maybe, really, you know, like, because he was the star of the show.
Yeah,
and
race master.
You look at what some of these other guys are doing. Like, you look at some of this, like, just the cars and the builds and all the other stuff that some of the big characters, or, you know, the big guys on those shows, like, they're making a lot of money doing this show, and he was by far the coolest guy, I think, on there. So, like, as far as like money wise, he's probably lost out. But I mean, I like the fact that he's just stuck to his guns, and he just wanted to do what he wanted to do, and that's sort of it. He's such a cool guy, like even down to we can draw similarities with him, very, very, very minor similarities, and it has nothing to do with his skill set whatsoever, but just his stubbornness to like stick with that Pontiac motor.
Yeah.
It just rings true with how I am and how you are, and many other guys as well with like the Holden V8, you know, like it's just, he just likes it, and that car will never have anything but a Pontiac motor in it, and it's just sort of like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I don't know. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, he took on the position of the race master, and obviously Discovery Channel needed a protagonist to fit the storyline, you know what I mean? And whether for a while there he was the gold.
He was the, like, before the show ever came along, that was him. Yeah, like they didn't mold him.
No, that's right. But this is what I'm saying. Like later on, so he was the golden boy for a while, and then they started to make him out to be this piece of shit. You know what I mean? And it got to a point where I think he said it in another podcast. I can't remember which one it was, but he said it got to a point where Discovery Channel are making up all these rules for the races, which he didn't agree with, but because he was the race master, he had to push it to the other races, even though he didn't believe in it.
Yeah, he had to enforce rules that he didn't believe. I think he actually said that on his own channel.
It might have been, yeah. And then that was the turning point where he was like, do you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not doing the dance monkey dance.
Yeah.
Like, see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I reckon props to him.
Yeah, I respect that, and that's how I am too. Like, I fucking don't tell me what to do, can't I? Like,
I do it all the time, though.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb, but when it gets to certain things, I'm just like, no, don't tell me what to do. So, I got a lot of respect for the guy. I think there's like other people, like Jerome, he reckons he's a cockhead because he and he probably was a cockhead. Like, I mean, we all are, but like, it depends what way you're looking at it from, because I think he did make it hard for the other guys on the show, like, rocking up hours and hours later and all that sort of stuff. So, you can read into it from both ways, but I don't know, man. I think he definitely is a cool guy, and I do enjoy listening to him talking about race car stuff on his YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen it, Midwest Street Cars, isn't it, on YouTube? Yep. Him and Jackie have got their little thing going on over there. Yeah. So, very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Murder Nova's channel is really good too. I think he's awesome as well. So.
Yep. And I guess this sort of comes down to what we were saying before. Like, they're all very good at monetizing themselves. You know what I mean? Like, and with their No Prep Kings thing, they sell a lot of merch. They, shake hands, kiss babies. Like, they're good racers, and they're passionate racers, but they're also very good business people.
And hard work.
Yeah.
The amount of hours that I believe they're driving across that country, back to back, would be unheard of. Like, they've been doing it for a long time now, so it's a job. Yeah. Like, it's 100% a job. Like, you see, like, Monza, he's just fully dropped off. Like he said, he's getting old, and I just don't think he can be fucked anymore. And I'm pretty sure they dropped the money they were paying him, because I think that, all the top guys sort of get a bit of a salary or retainer, whatever, retainer or whatever, and they've dropped his, obviously, because his results haven't been there or whatever. So it's a shame, because that new car that he's got is fucking epic.
Yeah, agreed.
What model is it? I've actually already forgotten. It's a Chevelle of some description. I'm not sure exactly what. I think it's a. Oh, fuck, I'm not even going to say.
It'll be in early 70s.
It's sick. Yeah, it is sick as sick. So it's a shame. Shame we don't get to see that.
Yeah. You are right, though. A lot of hard work goes into it, and a lot of travel and whatnot. Yep. Speaking of hard work, though, this actually is a great segue to one of my other talking points. Gazinat's finished up in Darwin, was it 2 weeks ago? This weekend is the start of Red Centre Nationals, and I'll let you crack that open, mate. Put it up to the mic.
I was about to.
Oh, that's satisfying, isn't it? Nice.
As you were.
Gazinat's wrapped up. Lynchy had a busted gearbox, so when he's loading that car up onto the transporter while it's on the ramps, dropped the gearbox out of it so that he could travel home with the gearbox on the plane to rebuild the gearbox and then fly it with him to Alice Springs for Red Centre Nationals to refit the gearbox in the pits in Alice to then skid at Red Centre.
Who did this?
Lynchy.
Like Lynchy.
Talk about hard working, dude.
I want to know how much they slugged him to get that gearbox on the plane.
Do you know what? I reckon checking that in as checked luggage is probably less than freight, faster than freight. I reckon, I don't know how many sort of race orientated outfits there are in Darwin to get it rebuilt, but even if they did rebuild it in Darwin, that truck was leaving. So I was then going to have to get shipped from Darwin to Alice anyway.
Yeah, okay.
I reckon it's probably the smart way of going about it.
Well, you've probably paid for all your everything to do the whole trip, so you're committed at that point. So and like you said, what other option you got?
Very little.
Yeah. So.
But man, that's commitment.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
How cool is it?
When you're in, though, you're in.
Yeah, yeah. But there's that. I also saw another one. There's a T-boned Tirana there was footage of that going out. Yeah.
At the car show.
Footage of that making it to a car show. T-boned, got no passenger side doors. It's bent. It's bent bad.
Yeah.
I just had this image of the bloke getting T-boned literally on the way there and just being stubborn enough to be like, nah, fuck it. I'm halfway there. Fuck it, I'm going.
At a, what was it? I think one of the first power cruises we went to, or the first one we went with Warby maybe.
Yeah, okay.
It was quite a few years ago now, but there was on the first day, there was a dude turned out to be one of my old workmates' old R32 Skylines, was sort of drifting around on the cruise sessions as they call it, lost control and T-boned a Tirana, hit it straight on the in the B pillar on the back straight at Barbagallo there, and needless to say, the fella that owned the Tirana was not impressed.
Somewhat disgruntled, you reckon?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't want to have been the skinny dude that was driving the Skyline, because the dude was mad. I didn't see what happened, but he probably got throttled.
I'll tell you what, Power Cruise was one event that I was super keen to get involved with, with the car and all the rest of it. And obviously we don't have Power Cruise in Perth at this stage. Hopefully it will come back. But that's one thing that, was worrying. It's not so much, we can all fuck up from time to time, but to have a really nice car that you've spent all that time, money, effort on, to then have someone else run out of talent and fuck up your whole weekend.
Yeah. Or even just, you could just have an accident as well, but usually usually just... people running out of talent and just having probably a lack of respect for the cars around them, I guess. So.
Yeah, well, they got a lack of respect for the car that they're in, because
which is fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had this discussion before. Is that the way that it's going? People want to have more fun spending less money, and I 100% get it. But when you're mixing it with, these other cars, which
especially cars that sort of can't be replaced either.
Yes.
Tiranas and stuff like that. There's just not bits for them.
And even if it's a piece of shit car or whatever,
this.
I was going to say,
someone hits this car is just it's just, you can't replace it.
No.
You just can't replace it. And I can't
we could buy another white VR. Worries.
We could find someone that would give me one of these cars. They're worth nothing, less than nothing.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the same.
No.
It was even to the point when we were putting it all back together, I was like, should we just get another set of doors for this thing? And you're just like, nah, I want to keep...
I've already fucking, in my
changed
younger
enough.
years, ripped so much stuff off it that I regret. I honestly kind of do regret doing everything that I've done to this car, even though it's not much. But what I have done is kind of wish I just left it alone and did it as something else. But here we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to be... I don't think you want to be that guy either. You'd feel like shit hitting someone else's...
Yeah. I don't think anyone deliberately goes out to do that.
Not.
There's no one that's planning to plow into a $150,000 car on track. It's not premeditated. It's an accident. It is an accident of the truest form.
That can happen with how much horsepower that you can make now. It's pretty crazy. And another segue, as you would say, Jeff. went on a bit of a street mission with my good friend Steve the other day.
Ooh.
He has a VP Commodore that makes 1100 and something. I don't know what it is. 1100 and something on high boost to the Hubleys, and we had it on high boost for a short while on the road, and
Jesus.
it was a lot. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this thing looks stock as a rock. Some people would have seen it. It did the rounds on the internet there quite a long while ago.
With the hubcaps
Yeah,
and the
so
sun
it's-
visor.
Yeah. So it's a very, very, very much a sleeper. But Steve's built basically the whole car himself.
Yeah.
Done a fucking fantastic job too. I will say he's used he hasn't gone over the top and just like wasted money needlessly on shit that he didn't need, but he has, it's got the who's who of all the stuff that he needed to get his goal done. I think with a lot of good advice from Jeff Johnson and the likes of those guys. Really exciting street car though. So very, very cool. And I think this racing season you'll probably get it down to the strip and reel out some low 8-second passes without too much dramas. I don't think it's caged and blah, 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 everything. So it's got all the stuff. He's tubbed the car himself. It's awesome.
Yeah. I had a good look at it. We went to a coffee car meet a couple of weeks ago and he went down for a squiz and I had a good look at it. I've obviously seen photos and whatever and spoken to Steve about it in the past, but to actually walk around the whole car and look at everything, it's pretty impressive. Like you say, there's been a lot of money invested into it, but only where it needed to be. He hasn't gone over the top.
For how the car performs,
correct,
and how it will perform.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do it for less.
No.
Like, really, honestly. No. So,
there comes a point where safety comes into question, you know what I mean? And spending that extra $100 on this particular part because you can see that it's got the SFI rating or whatever, that becomes important when you start talking 1,100 horsepower in a street registered vehicle that, you could throw your grandma in and she could drive it. Very sedate, bit noisy.
I don't think so. Oh yeah, I mean, for something that your mum would drive around in maybe, but it's fairly sedate, really, just in general. Single 3.5-inch exhaust. For those that don't know, which is probably most, because you don't really know who I'm talking about, but it's just like a basic stock LSA, like stock rods, crank, pistons, your usual stuff, with your studs and your cam and your friggin' oil pump and blah-de-blah-de-blah, just all your basic stock bottom end sort of.
Was it 91 mil turbo?
91 millimeter Jose from forced induction. Like, I reckon Jose makes the best turbos you can get. Like, I just think he's an ex-NASA engineer. He knows how to root. So it's got a Jose 91 on it, and like that LSA lit it up like it was nothing. Like there was no such lag. Never heard of her sort of deal. Like there was none of that. It was just on the converter. Very. I'm not going to say the word spicy because I fucking hate that word.
It was spicy. It was spicy,
word,
wasn't it?
But it was very. It was cool. It was quite good.
Yeah.
So thanks for the ride, Steve. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd just share my experience with that. But I don't know how fast we were going because I wasn't looking, and I don't think Steve was either. But I think those we need to get some. He's got some radials for it, but they weren't on. He just had sort of I think they were like a Bridgestone or something, 275/60 on it, which weren't doing real good.
No, they weren't having a great time.
It's weird. It's because the arse end is set up now, so it's got no panhard on anymore. He's got like the wishbone track locator, and it's got the 9-inch, and it's all set up. All the bars are good. All the floors are reinforced. Everything's sort of all good. So it's like gripping, but it's like really a really gritty experience is how it's gripping, but it's spinning at the same time, and you really lots of modulation going on there. So, and on our roads, country Western Australia roads, not fantastic.
No, what'd you say it made something like 800
so
plus on gate?
Yeah, on low boost, I think it made, I can't remember now, but it was 850 or 890 ish, 8 something. Let's just say 890.
Yeah.
And
How'd that feel? Like when it was on low boost, or I'm guessing
good.
that's like gate pressure more or less.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's gate pressure, but low boost.
Yeah.
So it feels good. Like
Yeah.
it's weird. You get in some cars that make like less, and it feels like too much. But then you get in that, and it feels like it's okay, like it's manageable.
Yeah.
So
Like we drive the XY with 800 to the hubs, and that feels pretty wild. And that's because it's got a steering box and leaf springs.
Yeah.
And it's a bit.
It's
how you
wild
go.
because of the car that's attached to it. This is way more aggressive. Like it's That's just the turbo power though. So
And we're also talking 4-link, 9-inch, anti-roll bar.
It's still got the standard like pickup points on the Commodores, which are actually really good for radial racing and stuff like that. The unequal lengths work good, as most people know. But yeah, just everything else, like Steve said before he did all the arse end, it's always had the 9-inch and the tubs and the bigger tyres and stuff. But with the track locator and stuff like that. That his friend I think it's Lethal Performance Fab did all that sort of stuff. Done a fantastic job on that as well, I think. So he was really happy with it, the chromoly cage and stuff.
Yeah.
But he said before it would, when you'd accelerate, it would really pull you into the middle of the road a lot. Like there was a lot more moving and shaking going on. Whereas now it sort of feels planted, but it's gritty. But then you're just fighting with the tyre and the road basically. So
Yeah.
when you fuck up at that speed, though, I don't think it matters how good you are. You're in strife, and Steve's definitely, he's not going to put himself in harm's way or a passenger. So we definitely took it, easy. But you definitely got a good feel for how much you do not need 1100 to the tyre on the road. But it's fun anyway.
Yeah. Who needs it? No one. Who wants it? All of us.
It's definitely. I can't imagine what that experience would be like in something like a GDR or something like that. Can really get the power down more, and stuff like that. It'd be exhilarating for sure.
Oh, visceral experience. Yeah.
Yeah, all these sort of GDRs over in Sydney and stuff like that. They're on another level. I'm seeing. I think Matooks actually, they've got that manual record I seen the other day. I wish I could remember what it was now, but it's like really low 8s now, I think, for like H pattern GDR stuff. It's fucking just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Rowing gears.
Yeah.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of blokes making PBs, Brett Wayne, let's talk about this for a second, because this is something that really piques our interest. Holden V8, this is... it's a blue VK now, but it used to be in, I think it was black, wasn't it? Like VC?
I think he had we should really know this, Jeff, but it was a black VH Rapid 8.
Yeah.
That was sort of it was him and Tassoni were sort of the head-to-head guys that year at Simonats.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
going head-to-head, both of them Holden V8, twin turbo, horsepower hero type things. And they always had plans to race that car, but it didn't eventuate. Brett Wayne kept the engine the entire time, though, right? It just sort of sat off to the side.
I don't know the full story, but I think, more or less he had it there, and then he's reconfigured things and stuff like that, and more or less put it in another car.
Yeah.
Seems like not seems like, very clever guy, very handy guy. I think he's done nearly everything himself, and I think he even tunes it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That's something to aspire to. I'd love to be able to do some tuning and stuff on our own stuff eventually. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So, but very, very fast. He's just cracked into the 7s, obviously, like you said. So
that is wild, isn't it?
It's great to see, like, a stock Holden block.
Yeah.
And I've seen some pictures of it. I just looked before, and it looked like it had the stock... I could be wrong, but it looked like the stock front and rear caps on it.
Wow.
Which
billet 3 center caps, obviously.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it has obviously a lot of modifications go into these standard blocks, and it's not just Holdens. There are other blocks as well that you really take a lot of work, and you really need to love the platform to sort of push it that far. But a lot of oiling mods have gone on in it. But a basic rundown. It's how good's E85 for starters? It's on E85, 9-to-1 compression, 372 cubes. A pair of Borg Warner SXE 372 turbos.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much horsepower it actually makes, but I mean, it made 1,300 and something horsepower all those years ago at Summonat, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming it makes
it's got-
around that or more.
Oh, yeah. Well, what was it running then? Probably some old GT42s or something, you know, like...
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think they were like even older than that, like T-Series shit.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember what it was, like T66 shit or something, you know, something like that. So, yeah, turbos have come a hell of a long way.
Yeah. So, I mean,
And the car looks sick too. Like,
and to run 7s, I mean, a VK is probably one of the lighter models, obviously, to choose from, but still, to get one of those to run a 7-second pass, you got to be making some steam.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was cool to see. Because I didn't realise it was a stock block. I thought it was a like a Torq Power block.
Yeah. Well, a Torq Power block probably wasn't even a thing when you did it back then.
Oh, no, back then maybe. I don't know, but now it would be. So,
Yeah.
I mean, because the car hasn't been out a hell of a long time in this reincarnation, I don't believe. So, I love following it though.
It'd be great to start seeing some billet block stuff now that Bullet's got the billet block out.
Yeah. Would you do a billet block when you could probably, for similar coin, pick up like a sort of maybe like a pre-owned Hemi of some description or something like that? Like how far does the love go, Jeff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you and I are both big block fiends. Like, if we could justify the expense, we would have stopped doing the Holden thing and started doing big block things. The problem is the cars that we have or the cars that we like to use don't accommodate a big block very well. Which doesn't help.
I do have a grinder though, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Yeah. But
I mean, if you
you
see
are right.
someone put a big block in a fucking LJ Tirana, you can't really use that.
Yeah, but those older cars, the inner wheel arches and stuff are just way different. You know, like you look at some of these H series Kingswoods, you just fuck that off.
Oh yeah, that's
you just get rid of that.
yeah.
That makes life a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
Can't really do that with these things. Not easily, anyway.
Not as easily as an LS.
Now let's talk about the aftermarket block and the legitimacy of calling it a Holden V8. Now you can get the Torq Power block and you can get the Bullet block. So now you see it online and people go, oh, but it's not a Holden V8 anymore.
I wonder if they're the sort of people that just want to keep the Holden down, you know, like they're like, nah, it's shit, and you're using an aftermarket block, so it's still shit. Whereas like no one ever says the same thing about like an LS Next block.
Or a Dart small block Chev.
Or anything like that. And it's I don't know what parts you have to keep in order to, I would assume as long as you're keeping like your ball spacing good, deck heights are the same or, very similar at least.
Yeah.
Strengthening up handrails and moving camshafts around and shit like that. What sort of unfair advantage would that pose as opposed to any other V8 out there, okay, it didn't come from the factory like that, but, you're sort of just stealing ideas from other better platforms and putting them on your own platform. So I don't really understand, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. We're not in it. We don't have any internet records to worry about. So
No. Nor will we.
I don't know why. I think a lot of people are uneducated on what they really are. Every time they're posted up, half the people in the comments don't even really know what the fuck it is, really. Like, they get their wires crossed and whatnot. But in my eyes, any of the aftermarket block stuff, it's all legit, really. I mean, obviously, if you're in some sort of class racing, but that's different. That's not usually what we're talking about these days.
I think the Bullet block, because you can get that in a standard cam location, you could use that for class racing, whereas a Torq Power, because it does have a raised cam tunnel, that you wouldn't be able to use that. So that I guess sparks the question, is it a Holden V8? But for me, it's like, whatever. Yeah,
it's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
And I don't really get it, but it's something to talk about anyway.
Yeah.
It seems crazy that a billet block would be more accepted into certain classes because of where the camshaft is.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it's a chunk of billet. But
Yeah.
I love the idea. I love the fact that there's enough interest to even go on that venture.
Yeah.
I don't know the Bullet guys, never spoken to them in my life, but they must have a bit of love there for the
Yeah.
platform, you know, because I'm sure there's other ones out there that probably they could sell more of, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, I don't know.
But I think the billet block, you still only got to run a 4-bolt head, whereas Torq Power, you can go 6-bolt. I wonder what their thought process is there.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure. Not sure. You
You'd
can go
think-
plenty fast on 4 bolts, but yeah, once you go on to billet, you're really going for
Yeah.
you're really going for that sort of 3,000 horsepower range, aren't you?
Surely,
Or plus
yeah.
or whatever. I mean, what did Bubba make with his Torq Power motor? That made
22 something.
You know.
Yeah. If not more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm keen to see if Come Racing ever bring out their sort of more. They've had a block in the works for many years. I think COVID dry thumb that clean in the ring gear
Yeah.
pretty well. So I'm not sure if that'll ever make the light of day or not, but that's sort of more of a stock replacement. I think everything's sort of
Yeah.
more or less the same, but they sort of
Did the oiling.
yeah, I think they
Yep.
sort of actually put oil to the mains first and
Yeah. I think it had
know,
all the
maybe-
oiling mods. I think it had a full set of 5 4-bolt caps, main caps, and I think it was...
Could you take the bores out bigger on that, like just a thicker
think-
casting?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking it had a thicker casting between the cylinders.
And maybe some more room for a bigger leg in there slightly. I'm not sure.
Possibly.
We should have read up on the specs before, but that'd be a good one. But the same thing, it's probably going to be the same price as.
Yeah.
It's sort of hard. That's where the snowball effect really starts coming in, because the machining to get the Holden V8 up to spec, you know, it starts getting on, especially when you know, throwing friggin' braided lines or hard lines all through the valley to sort of pick up oil here and there, and
Yeah.
you know, drilling caps and friggin' converting to neo seals and fucking, you know, O-ring grooves and all this stuff. It just
Yeah.
all adds up before you know it, you know, especially sometimes you got to buy 2 or 3 blocks to get a good one,
Yeah.
you know, so like, which venture do you go? You could spend what's a couple of grand in the whole scheme of things?
yeah.
And then once you get that, so you get to that Torq Power block range, and then it's like, well, I should really fucking utilize this 6-bolt head configuration here,
Yeah.
because like, why not? And then so then you're up for, you know, however much it's a set of like decent like Higgins 6-bolt heads is, you know,
All the Torq Power 6-bolt
all the
heads.
Torq Power
Yeah.
ones, yeah. So like, it just gets out of control super quick.
Does. Yeah. Yeah. Ask me how I know.
Yeah,
Fuck.
but yeah, the stock block stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It would be cool to see that other block hit the market, but like you say, I think pricing...
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because I'm pretty sure Arrow that do the Ford stuff now, I'm going to have to tread lightly here because I'm not well versed in anything Ford really at all, but I think those blocks weren't bad price-wise. Like
think
very
when-
much. If everyone could hang around like the Dart or, you know, any
Yeah.
of your sort of USA native sort of stuff, if
Yeah.
you could hang around that, you know, 4-5 grand or whatever,
Yeah.
that's good going.
I think we did have a look. I'm going by poor memory at this point, but before Mick ended up with the 411 Cuba with the Pro Charger, he was looking at building like a 427 Cleveland, and I think an Arrow block was like 4,800. It was like just shy of 5 grand, if I remember correctly. And I was thinking, see, that's how much an aftermarket block should cost. You know, like that. That's appealing. That would sell. It makes you wonder if Torq Power were able to bring their price down. If, you know, they lose a little bit of margin, bring down their costs slightly somehow, and get their block down to say 5,500 instead of the $7,000 that they are.
Which
how
they're
many
probably more than
more?
that now as well.
Yeah. But you know, say it was 7,200, and we were able to get the price down to 5,500. Would the volume increase of sales make up that difference? I reckon it'd be close.
Yeah, I wonder how many people are still actually fucking around with it, really. Because you look in a lot of Commodore, modified Commodore stuff, I mean, it's not as bad as what it used to be. Say a couple of years ago, I think there's a couple more people are sort of choosing the Holden way just to have a point of difference. But the LS stuff really does reign supreme because it's so easy and there's so much support. So that's sort of, if we didn't have the LS, I think, it'd be a no-brainer. The quantity would be there because obviously the Ford, there's heaps of Ford guys everywhere. So they're probably selling blocks, everywhere all around the world as well. So it's just a quantity thing. Obviously, the more you can make, you get a better price. So, I'm sure Torq Power, if they had millions of dollars sitting there, they could probably sit on a heap of blocks and have them. But, are they going to move? It's a gamble.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
Now, I wanted to bring up an idea that you had since our last podcast, and it was bred off the back of our reed speed episode where we put the RS1 accessory drive kit on the low-cut fuck truck. In the comments, we want to have a segment where we go through comments of the videos that we've had since the previous podcast, or, just comments that have been made and highlight a couple. We need an idea for a segment name, and if you come up with a banger one, I will send you a stubby holder and create the segment. That'll be the go.
Well, if that's not enough incentive, I don't know what is.
But we had, that video did create a lot of engagement. Now, of course, there was a bit of clickbait there with the whole Gilmer trashing.
So what was the video for starters for those that don't know? If you so happen to listen to this and you haven't watched the video, Jeff's good at getting people to click on videos sometimes.
Sometimes.
So you more or less just trashed Gilmer setups, really, didn't you?
Yeah. So we had a Gilmer set that was on the front of the engine that's in the VH wagon project. And we removed that in favour of a Reed Speed RS1 6-rib accessory drive kit, which is a beautiful piece of kit, and we are very big believers in it. Now, people going on about the price of the kit, whether it was warranted and or whether there was anything wrong with the Gilmer to start with. Now, there was also a couple of people, I don't know if you want to bring up the comment for us, K Fizzy, but, even though we clearly stated in that video that we pay, well, I say we, Caden, the guy who owns the car, he paid for the kit. But people complaining that we were just pushing it because it was sponsored. Now, and we've just said this thing earlier with the whole Shockworks thing. Is it that unbelievable that people would push a product that they genuinely believe in?
It could be starting to get that way.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because
I could understand where people would think, and, there was obviously a strong product placement in that video, right? We made that video with purpose because, Reed Speed are a supporter of the Torq Hub podcast, Torq Hub YouTube channel,
But if you go back, this is the point of difference right here, guys. So you can go back through other videos. I wouldn't expect you to, but you could.
Yeah.
I've been buying Reed Speed bits and pieces and telling people to buy it for years and years and years. I've got the basic one on mine because that's all I need, and I'm super happy with it. Jerome, who you guys have, if you've watched the channel for quite a while, you would have seen him. He's one of our good mates, and he had a Whipple supercharged VS Ute, and I told him about the kit, and Daniel so happens to do a pulley kit to suit that Whipple kit. I got Jerome to buy one of those. We had it here. We got it for that. Who else have we got it? I tell everyone, we believe in the stuff and we believe in the Australian made. We believe in supporting Australian manufacturing, and it's not a crime.
No.
It's just not a crime.
No. So I got the comment here, and it says, please stop misleading the industry into thinking that something is wrong with a product that is commonly used in industrial applications. Just because you got free parts, $1,800 worth, that makes no difference to the performance or reliability of your car. And for fuck's sake, a Gilmer noise is not there to replicate a blower. It replicates straight cut gears. Clearly, they there's no supercharger when there's no hole in the bonnet. But thank you for showing everyone that literally anyone can upload a video. That's what he had to say. Geez, that rain's starting to come down, isn't it?
It's kicking in good, eh?
Nice. That's what he had to say. He had to get that in there. So, but yeah, like I say, literally, we said on the video that
So
we
he's
paid
made
for
a
it.
lot of assumptions there for starters.
Yeah. So, yeah, first of all, if you are in the industry and you are
What
able,
industry? What industry?
obviously the
In
automotive
industry.
or whatever, yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. He doesn't know what he's talking about, obviously, but if you're in the industry and you're able to be misled by a couple of weekend warriors, then I'd be very concerned for your job security, first of all. But you can't argue with a product that's got the runs on the board. You can't tell me that by having that 6 rib instead of the gear drive that you are not taking some kind of pressure or parasitic loss away from those accessories that are on that accessory drive. It will extend their life. This is a fact. This is
I mean, yeah. We take the piss because a lot of them are fitted poorly, and most of them are made poorly.
And if you like them, that's cool. If you think it's cool, then we think that's cool for you.
Yeah,
We're-
100%.
as
We're not
long as-
trying to get every single person to change anything on their car. Like, that's
No.
not what this is about. We're not trying to be any sort of anything, authority or anything. Don't fucking take what we say, honestly, with a grain of salt. I take what I say with a grain of salt sometimes.
Me too.
So, like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to get a point across without... You're always going to upset someone, which is fine. I don't give a fuck about upsetting people
No.
at all. I do enjoy it from time to time. But,
Yeah.
you know, take what we say with a grain of salt. If you like your Gilmer kit and it fits and it works good, then fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Good on you. But the sad reality is this. If you go into Google and type, like... the whole theme of this podcast has been Holden V8. So you look for a Holden V8 Gilmer kit, right? You're going to see something that varies anywhere from, I think, $200 and something up to fucking $500 or $600. And it's all the same generic Chinese-made fucking shit, is what it is. It's made in a factory at a price. They don't give a fuck how it fits. You get zero aftermarket, like after-sales support. Blah, blah, blah. If you're clever enough, which you don't really need to be that smart, really, but if you can line your pulleys up, get them tensioned correctly, yeah, sure, you can fuck with it and make it work, but by no means are most of these cheap Chinese-made pieces of shit a bolt-on kit that runs fucking absolutely perfectly and is problem-free, runs your alternator at the right speed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We had countless comments over the different socials saying, yeah, I've got one, fits all right, alternator doesn't charge because the pulley's wrong, or this or that, or
Yeah.
anything else. So, you know, it is what it is. If you've got one, cool. Honestly, cool. Like our friend Blake that's got the Falcon, he's got a Gilmer kit on his Ford. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. The Ford ones are probably really good. I don't know. If Daniel from Reed Speed made a Gilmer kit, I'm sure it'd be really good too, and I'd promote that. But the fact of the matter is, there's not really that many good kits around.
No. And this one, like you say, this one does bolt on. It works.
And
there's no messing around.
yeah,
We proved it.
A lot of people were sort of at the price of it, which is fair enough. It's in the eye of the beholder as to what's worth.
Yep.
What, you know. So
I can 100% agree with, you know, like it is probably a bit spendy for some. I can understand that, but you look at the amount of material that's in it, the amount of time and design and engineering and testing and all the rest of it to go into it. That is why it costs what it costs. Now, can you justify it? That's the thing. I don't know if you can for everybody, but there's other people that don't need that RS1 kit because they don't have power steering. You know what I mean? So straight away, you don't need that. You could use an RS5 kit, which just does water pump and alternator, much like a generic Gilmer kit does, at a comparable price. It's still a little bit more than a Chinese-made Gilmer kit, but it is apples with apples, very comparable for price, Australian-made, good quality, you know it works, and you do get that good after-sales service.
yeah, which you don't need because you've got the most ridiculous instructions.
Yeah.
Which Jeff didn't read, but that's neither here nor there. But, you know.
You don't have to read.
Yeah, you got the instructions and everything just fits. So, yeah, it just depends where you want to put your money. But I get it. But at the same time, like, don't get mad at a bloke for promoting something that is good.
That's right.
Or even if it wasn't good, like, whatever. I don't jump on fucking Joe Blogg's YouTube channel when he's just been sent some free shit from Max Beating Rods and he's fucking doing a fit up or giving it away or whatever. Like, good on him. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's what they're about, and I'm all about that too.
Yeah.
So,
put it this way: if we come across some more awesome products that are from some awesome Australian companies, you're going to hear us talk about it. And if you don't like that, well, I'm very, very sorry.
So yeah, no, it was funny anyway. It was funny that week getting the comments and stuff. So, even like there were even guys that didn't know about it. That I think there was a couple of inquiries just from the video, which is what it's all about.
Correct. Yeah. There's a couple of people that, and it is deceiving that they thought that it pushed the accessories out quite wide.
I think that's because it's the one piece sort of plate is along the front. It's very visual.
Yeah.
It's just, but that's how you get your rigidity as well.
That's
like
right.
Instead of having it just pivot off a couple of bolts off each cylinder head, you've tied each cylinder head into each other, so everything is locked in and triangulated. Nothing is moving at that point, you know. So everything is rock solid lobster.
Yeah.
And that's probably, a good reason why they work so well.
And the alternator and power steering
They're
pump
in standard HQ
location.
positions.
Yeah. That's why it's a bolt-on upgrade, because they are in a standard factory OEM location.
Yeah.
That's why it works. And the sad thing for us is by the time we put the clutch fan and the fan shroud and all that, you're not going to see any of it.
No.
Like if anyone thought we were doing it for the blang blang, like we got it for an Instagram picture, sure.
Yeah,
but
we needed to fuck the Gilmers off, and we got to support a company that we believed in.
Absolutely.
Everyone wins. Everyone wins. So Caden isn't going to have any dramas with anything flogging out on him. His alternator is going to charge itself.
Yeah.
So his alternator is going to charge the battery.
Yeah.
And everyone wins. If it's not for you, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is a segment that we do want to get into, though. Every now and again, we're just going to dip into...
Just call it in the comments, mate.
Call it in the comments.
In the comments.
Surely we can come up with something better than that.
We should try not to talk about the internet so much. We need to drop the Holden V8, well, not drop, but just reduce Holden V8 and internet talk. We need to sort of get on some other stuff.
Bit more real world.
I wanted to come up with something where people would send in different, like, I'm sort of trying to convert, like, your magazine. Like, when everyone's been reading Street Machine forever and a day, you've got like Mill of the Month and all the. I love reading different engine combinations and stuff like that. I reckon it'd be cool to sort of bring like a Mill of the Month. Like one week it's your turn and my turn, or even someone that's got something really unique that they wanted to send in that we could read out, just to say, go through all the nitty gritty of everything.
Yeah.
A sort of a Mill of the Month would be cool to add. Just a straight rip-off from Street Machine in a way,
And that's the thing.
Tell us what you think.
You guys can send us a voicemail at any time. If you go to torqhub.com.au, on the right-hand side, there's a red button where you can send us a voice message. And that doesn't matter if you're on a phone, a tablet, a laptop, whatever. If you've got a microphone, you can send us a voice message. And if you've got something like a Mill of the Month, if you've come across a sick engine, you want to share some specs, or if you've just got a cool story that you want to share with people that you think might generate some conversation, please do.
Yeah.
Because that is something that we do enjoy, is hearing from you guys. It's some way that we can interact pretty freely, and we do enjoy it. I'm just going to jump across, because we did touch on it earlier for you at least, but I've got a little something I want to get off my chest.
You know what really grinds my gears? Running on the chip.
On the chip, powered by ReadSpeed. Readspeed.com.au.
.au.
I've got a little something that gets me on the chip, and it's... I don't know if it really should get me on the chip. I shouldn't give a fuck, but I do. And it's filters that hang out the top of 4-inch reverse cowls. What the fuck is the point of that 4-inch reverse cowl?
I don't know if I've seen that.
What? You haven't seen that? Bullshit. Someone's got like a 4-inch reverse cowl, and then they got like a tunnel.
They might have a fucking big block in it.
Yeah, they might do, but just run a flat bonnet. If you're going to sit it loud and proud, then sit it fucking loud and proud. If you're going to put a cowl on it to try and hide it.
Is that just because you just already don't like cowls, though?
Well, that's neither here nor there, really. It's just the thing that I don't understand is, like I just sort of pointed out, if you want it to be loud and proud and you want to have these filters sticking out the top, then why are you bothering?
But maybe
to run
they
a
don't
cowl?
want their fucking carby or throttle body or intake manifold hanging out. They just like that filter look. I mean, I'm not defending it because I wouldn't do it, but
I wish I had a picture handy that I could just bring up and just get your like live reaction.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm sure I've seen something. I don't know if I've seen it on a Commodore though.
I don't know if I've seen it on a Commodore.
You know what I would hate? You know what I would hate is if they did that and just put a really stupid tall filter on it when they could have just put something a little shorter.
Yeah.
Like,
Or let's say you got someone that's got they got a tunnel ram on there, but then they've got like those velocity stacks on top of the carbies to space them up fucking 7 inches or whatever, and then filters on top of that just so they can go out the top of the fucking reverse cowl. How retarded would that be? I don't understand it. Like I say, I'm not a big fan of reverse cowls, and that's not, like I just don't particularly get behind that styling. I get their function. I understand.
and some look better than others. I think they can be.
And if you read the VSB 14 for engineering or whatever, you can get away with like a 3-inch reverse cowl and hide, a multitude of sins. I can understand why you would choose that, say over a Hornet scoop, which I equally don't like. But, that I understand the functionality of having one.
Which is why you don't understand cutting a hole through it.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really thought about it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of photos just over time, and I don't know. One of them I came across about a week or two ago, and I had to put it in my notes in my phone to be like, do you know what? I just don't.
Think of it from this angle. Would you prefer to see him put a 6-inch cowl on it? Because I've seen some cows that are fucking like 6 or 8 inches tall, and that's when I think, bruh, you should have just.
Yeah.
You give up on keeping it under the bonnet.
Just fuck the bonnet off altogether at that point.
Yeah.
You just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut around whatever you're doing and just, look, mate, you're not hiding nothing from anyone.
No. Even a 4-inch reverse cowl, like Warby has a 4-inch reverse cowl on his GDO, and that is, it's got
Funny
some...
story. I don't think Warby realised what he said. I think at the time he said, I didn't realise how big 4 inches was. I think he thought it was maybe like...
He's been telling his missus that's 4 inches.
That's what I roughly remember him saying anyway. But yeah, I mean, he needed it. He didn't need 4 inches.
No.
He probably could have got away with like
2
or 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think depends on the car as to what you can get away with.
Yeah. I don't know. Just filters out of a reverse cowl for me, man. I just don't understand.
Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, it's not something that I've really thought about, really.
Yeah. If someone has got that and you can give me a legitimate reason as to why, I don't know. It's like, are you using that as a blower guard instead of just putting a blower guard on?
Possibly. Out of the bonnet blowers don't do much for me either. I'll just add that. And this ain't no hate.
Yeah.
It depends. Like, and I'm talking like your GM style ones. Like, obviously when you start getting up into the big like screw stuff, I love that shit. like Tough As, the blue VH, which was another one I wanted to bring up actually. He's going pretty fast, and he must be making some fucking steam out of that thing, and that's a stock block Holden as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So
What's that got, an 871?
Shit, you put me on the spot.
Yeah,
Either, I'm not sure, an 8 or a 10. Which, when you've got a blower on top and you're going fast, that's definitely like a harder way to go as opposed to a hairdryer or two.
Yeah.
As far when it comes to making horsepower and going fast. So they're doing a really great job with that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
for
he's
sure.
running like low 8s now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sick.
That's
very
a
cool.
nice looking car.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. Where are
So
you?
yeah, I mean, I like that, but then like some stuff,
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess if it's got like carbs on the top, that's where I sort of don't really get around it for some reason.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, like, do you get the filter on top of the blower sort of thing, or are you just, it's got to be mech injected?
Yeah, or just got a hat on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just got to have a hat. Either
Now, when we're
AFI
talking a
or-
hat, do you like the big and uglies?
I like the small ones.
I'm
I like
the
the
same.
low profile,
Yep, yep.
small stuff.
If I was going to do it, like you see people, they put the blower on a ram manifold, you know, so they get a high rise tunnel ram, then they put the blower, and then they put the big and ugly on there, and it ends up
Nearly this high as a roof.
it's got some altitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would put it on a low manifold, like in the valley, with an old bug catcher style injector hat on top. Keep it nice and low, so that you've just got the butterflies just out over the top of the bonnet.
Yeah, or where they need to be. Yeah.
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 That'd be cool.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I don't like anytime you sort of get that look of I'm trying to maximize the impact.
Yeah.
I like the idea of building something that's got fucking heaps of impact and you're trying to minimize it, but you're just real struggling. You know, you're doing a really shitty job at it. You know, that's sort
Yeah.
of. I like that sort of approach.
In saying that, though, Tim Laidler's VL, that's got that giant friggin'
That is
top,
true.
top
That
fuel.
is true. Yeah. It's not that I hate the big ones and it sounds like I'm backpedaling now, but it's not, I wouldn't do
No, yeah.
that.
Yeah, that does suit, because it's got the big wheels and it's got the big blower and it's got the big block, and
True.
everything's just got to be overzealous on
Yeah.
that car, otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I've shared that before. That one, yeah, it hit me, eh? Like it really did shook me, and it was good. I hope to see, we'll see that one day.
Yeah, and it's
Hopefully we get to
it's
head
not
over
far
to
off.
an event.
Yeah,
where
it's
he's
not
actually-
far off now that it's going to like go to the track and actually do what it was built for. Like it's done Summernats and it's done Motor X, and it's just like, okay, let's have this thing breathe fire and
Let's
blister
fuck
paint.
this paint up.
RIP paint job.
You know what I did learn though?
What's that?
Listening to Tim talk about that car is I didn't realise that SV88s had 2 different shades of blue on them.
Yeah, neither did I. Yeah,
didn't
the
know that.
plastics have a different colour blue to the body. Yeah.
And here we are talking about, or not me, talking about how you've got to have the plastic, like the satin black, you know, or standard plastic VL Calais skirts, and then
Yeah.
not even knowing that there's 2 different shades of dark blue on an SV88. I don't know what the motivation for that would be.
Yeah, I
From the
don't know.
factory, like, why would they be like, you know what? We're going to do a slightly different shade of blue on this bitch.
Do you reckon someone just fucked up?
Oh,
on the-
yeah.
Someone just fucked up on the prototype and they're just like, well, gonna have to run with it now.
Takes you back to the SLE stripe fucking debacle that we spoke about many moons ago. Eh? I seen a real bad one the other day, bro.
I'm glad you didn't send it to me.
That would have peaked you. It would have fucking peaked you. Hey,
You would have been.
I seen it. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I was going to say he tried, but I don't know if he did. Eh? It was.
If you had to send that to me, then you would have regretted doing it
Yeah.
because the response you would have got, holy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good times.
for sure.
How far's the H off coming back, bro?
Very close. Yeah, I did post a thing up in our stories a little while ago with the underbody coated and said the next time you'll see it, it will be painted. Now, that didn't mean that it was going to be painted like that week and you were going to see it. But I'm just not going to show any more updates on it until it's painted. At this point, I did go and visit it the other day. So the underbody's coated, the engine bay's painted, the boot is painted, the interior has been painted, the door jambs have been painted, the inside of the doors has been painted,
Blackouts on the
blackouts on the pillars.
because SLEs have blacked out frames, don't they?
Correct, yeah.
Oh yeah, sweet.
So the blackouts on the B and C pillar, they've been painted. So where we're at now, the doors have got to be hung, the guards have got to be hung. The car will be blocked one last time,
Yeah.
just to get it
Yeah,
ready.
you'll block it panel to panel, won't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get it blocked one more time, and then it's time
One,
for Simon
one,
to
one
shoot
more
it.
game.
One more game. And Simon will shoot it. So we are in the closing stages. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And I got to tell you, when I walked in the booth and I had a look at that engine bay, I was like, fuck, that looks good.
Now we've got to figure out what's going to be silver and black on the engine to make it pop when it goes in.
Yeah. Yep.
You're going for the silver-black contrast, aren't you?
I think so, yeah. Like, I like the idea of the all-black thing, like kind of like what Caden has with his. But I think as I've matured, I think, that bit of contrast
I was going to
is
do that
nice.
with mine. Like, it doesn't look like it, but the alternator, I bought that all black because I was going to get the bullet bracket done black, and I was going to get a lot of the stuff done black. But when I put it all in, I sort of thought, you know what, the silver like kind of works. So it's not chrome; it's just like
breaks it up.
stainless or like anodized aluminium, and it kind of works good with the white.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen some people do it really well with just like a lot of silver, but a bit of black to break it up.
Yeah.
I think the rule is 3 colours in any sort of an engine bay in particular, but sort of any scenario. As long as you don't go over 3 colours and you get them right, you'll do just fine.
Yeah.
So if you got your white engine bay,
I'm going
black
to have
and
to
silver.
censor that. No
Censor
one
what?
knows what colour this is.
Well, they do now.
No,
if
they
they
don't.
listen to the podcast, they'll know.
No, it's been censored.
Oh, well, whatever. This is Jeff. He's just holding it back. Kurto tries to bring you the latest. Give me a couple of rares and I'll just tell everyone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, loose lips.
That's all right.
Sweet as.
I did have something else to say, but I forgot now. It's not important.
Was it about the engine bay contrast?
No.
No. Okay. Well, we're going to move on to our final segment. Blow on. Let's go, baby. A little bit quiet on the line this time around again, but we've got a couple.
Hey fellas, just wondering what mods you guys might regret doing to cars you've got in your current fleet, mods you've done in the past when you were young, or just, like mods you think you wouldn't do or what you would change. Yeah, let us know. Cheers.
It's a good question. Mods we regret.
That is a good question. I'll tell you what I regret.
Tell me.
Right. So we all know, and I've dribbled shit about it all episode, about the Holden V8 and how, it can be a bit tricky to make horsepower. So what I thought when I built this turbo kit, I was like, I'm going to do I'm a fabricator, so I'll just put a 4-inch exhaust, like a 4-inch dump pipe on it. Fuck, I don't care if it makes an extra fucking 2 horsepower, I need that 2 horsepower.
Yeah.
I don't, but that's what I was thinking. So I put it through. And then I ended up getting sick of trying to make it fit without melting everything. I still believe that I could get it to fit and ceramic coat it and I would be spotty dog, but I thought, I kind of just took the hit. I was defeated and I built another one in 3.5. If I had just stuck with a 3.5 from the start, I could have left the stock fuel tank in and I could have had a single 3.5-inch exhaust, whereas now I've built half of a 3-inch, twin 3-inch exhaust, and I've got a cell in the boot now, which I didn't really, I got fucking dash 10 lines. This motor will never take what a dash 10 line ever would need, just silly dumb things like that.
Well, you're building the car for 1,200 horsepower. You didn't know that you were, but you were.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal, really. I'm lucky, I guess, in a way that I've done 95% of the work on this myself,
Yeah.
or you or Jerome are pretty, or Hugh, really. I think you 3 are the only ones that have put hands on it. So that's, lucky I'm not paying someone for a service.
Yeah.
In that regard, but yeah, I do kind of regret not just. Just pull your hand off the valves for a second and just get real,
Yeah.
you don't, I didn't need to go, excuse me, that wild.
Yeah.
Probably not a huge regret.
No.
But yeah, I've had to do some stuff to this car. I've had to notch the chassis rail for that 4-inch pipe that's literally not there anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
But you have provision for it if you need it, which you don't.
Yeah, which I don't. But anyway, you never know.
Yeah. As for regrets, I don't have a whole bunch. I do regret not having done more with my ute up until this point. I probably could have, should have, would have. Obviously, the VH's SLE resto and all that's milked up all the funds that I would have used for that. I still do have some loose plans on what I do want to do with the ute, but I regret having not done some of them already. I regret probably not changing the ECU up until this point. There's stuff that I regret not doing. There's not a lot of stuff that I regret doing with that car. In a sense,
what about the latest head gasket delete?
yeah,
Do you regret that?
Yeah. So it looks like that car may have pushed a head gasket. I went to go drive it the other day, and something just didn't seem like it ran and drove and whatever, but something just, when you know your car and you're just like, there's something not right here.
You ever seen that? I think it's the Green Mile meme. I'm tired, boss. That's your motor, dude. Like, I'm tired, boss.
So
the old thing's got its tongue hanging out.
Yeah,
like
it's been doing its thing for a long time.
It's not doing much, but it's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
It needs a chop out, Jeff.
Yeah, it does need a chop out. So there's some things that need doing there. That'll be a future episode. I went to drive it the other day, and like I say, something just wasn't right. I pulled the PCV hose off the front of the rocker covers, and she's breathing heavy. And I reckon, that's what it is. It's either pinched a ring, or it's pushed a head gasket, or it might even be an intake.
Same thing last time, didn't it?
Yeah, it might even be an intake manifold gasket. I don't know, but we've got to get in there and have a look. And I think we've just got to tick a couple more boxes first. But I do want to get onto that sooner rather than later. So that'll be an upcoming video or two. But yeah, there's definitely got to be some rectifying there. It has pushed a head gasket once before, and I was being a proper fuckwit when I did it, and I reused the same head bolts. I kind of regret that now, thinking I probably could have used a better head bolt and maybe a better gasket, and it would have maybe not be doing what it's doing right now. I just reused the same head bolts and used a stock head gasket. But I also think that is a savior in that it's a fuse for the engine. If I didn't have, say if I had a multi-layer steel gasket with head studs, would it just fucking bend a rod? Probably. Who knows? But it doesn't really matter at this point. We'll investigate, we'll rectify, and we'll get it back on the road.
Yeah, we've had talks about what we'd love to do to it.
Yeah.
Get rid of the 3 pedals, probably put a glide in it, and I wanted to just keep it simple and just put a sweet little single turbo on it, but Jeff's got his heart set on some like mirror image twin turbos.
Yeah. I would like to go mirror. I can see the sense in not going mirror image, in that if a reverse rotation turbo fucks out, you've got to get a reverse rotation turbo, which could be a bit more difficult. So I'm not opposed to just doing twin standard rotation turbos, but I do want to do the twin low mount setup on it. And I
had that thought about doing it to this, like, again.
Yeah. But and it's also for the sake of doing something a bit different as well, because like we've done the single turbo on yours, we're doing the rear mount turbo on the wagon. Like, how many turbo 5-litre combinations can we fucking come up with here? So
I can come up with a couple more, I reckon.
Yeah.
I'm going to put one in the fucking passenger seat or something.
Yeah.
Do what Keep It Reet did and just stack them, compound a triple compound or something.
Yeah. So I think I would like to do that. As far as regrets, I don't know if I do regret it. There are some feelings of regret for going for a full resto on the SLE. I think, and even if I did go for the resto, I probably could have done a lesser resto than what I've done.
I think that I think you're a victim of timing.
Yeah,
and it's not your bad timing. I think it's just the timing of when you wanted to pull the trigger and what was happening in the world. Because COVID just at the start of COVID or whatever it was, when you sort of had your money ready to go and you're like, all right, I've been sitting on this car for a couple of years or whatever.
Yeah.
And you wanted to you're like, I'm ready to go. I want to get this thing started. And I was the guy, wasn't I, Jeff? I was the guy. I'm like, let's fucking, because what's the word? It's like I'm a pessimistic piece of shit. And so I just expect everything to cost fucking 3 times more than it should and be half as good as what you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you should just fucking find something else, find another roller, and we can just put your combo in it, and we're fucking off. Because Jeff's got, what would you say, Jeff? Maybe like 80% of a driveline combination ready to go, like a really nice Holden V8 naturally aspirated combination. So I just want him to go.
Yeah.
And at that particular time when he was ready to go, the landscape was barren and dry. There was fucking nothing around. Whereas say,
and there was a couple that I did inquire about and I just missed out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
One was like I just couldn't quite come up with enough funds. One sold before I could get to it. You know, like.
And to be fair, you didn't know exactly what you were going to get as far as like bones go, but you know, there was definitely a few good ones for a good price.
Yeah.
And now towards the end of the restoration, there's just tons coming out the woodwork again, you know, like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bitter pill to swallow, but at the same time, at least you know what you're getting.
That's what I keep telling
Simon
myself.
has done a fucking absolutely fantastic job.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad, you know. Like you know what you're getting, but
Yep.
the base. I think the base of the car was probably the main sort of.
Yeah. I think when it's all said and done, like when the car's complete and I'm driving it, there'd be no way that I regret what I've done. I may have done some things a little bit differently, but just while you're in the thick of it, when you're in the trenches and there's no end in sight, you know what I mean? There's just like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like anything. When after you've spent the money, you sort of forget about it.
Yeah.
And you're sort of happy you did, but while you're there, and it's not just the money, it's the how long it takes to do the job properly as well, you know. So
yeah, that's right.
We're so impatient these days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I just want to hear that 383 cube
singing
raw to life, you know, with 13 point what 1 or 2 compression.
I think it's 13.3.
It's gonna fucking sound like the world's ending, eh?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Should be good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped for it. It should be wicked when it happens, but obviously it's a while away yet, so we'll just keep dreaming.
Yes.
Anyway, move on to our...
that was a good question, though. Thanks
that was, yeah. If I had thought about it a bit more deeply, there's probably others from previous cars way back when that I would have regretted, but yeah, for right now, that's the best I can come up with.
Hey fellas, just had another thought.
Same bloke.
What are your thoughts on cost of living? I think that's a good thing everyone's experienced at the moment, all around the world, and yeah, just rate interest increases and cost of food, just all that sort of stuff. Just, you know, it might be slowing people down with doing their projects and stuff. But yeah, just give us your thoughts. Cheers.
100% cost of living is fucking up people's projects. Ask me how I know.
I've been harping on about that for ages, probably even since the first episode.
Yeah.
You can see the writing on the wall if you've got your eyes open, you can see. And it's not getting any better either.
If I was a smarter man, I could probably, you know, minimise some of this, but I think I was adding it up the other day. In the last, I think it's 16 months or something since the interest rates have started going up, I think, because I've got 2 mortgages. I think my outgoing for that has gone up something like $800 odd a fortnight. Can you imagine?
It adds up, man.
Can you imagine having someone just came up to you one day and said, because this is obviously a gradual increase over time, right? And you have to adjust and make adjustments, whether that be to the rent or to this or to, you know, and it's to the point of like cancelling.
The problem is, okay, so you've added the interest rate rise, right?
Yeah.
But inflation's at fucking
7% or whatever it is.
7%, right? So basically everything that we're fucking interacting with in the world's gone up, like, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60%, whatever. You know, I got another fucking increase for gas rental and gas, like, just yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a non-stop onslaught. And, you know, going back to my pessimistic views, it's only going to get worse. You know, like the writing's on the wall, and I've been talking about it for years and years. That's for a different conversation for a different time. But yeah, it's not great. And that's why we can understand why
Yeah.
people are picking and choosing the car stuff. 100% for some people, for
Yeah.
myself included. I've had a few unfortunate things happen to me this year, which is, I haven't touched this car or even thought about doing anything to it since motivation, and it's fucking sad.
Yeah.
I had Steve ask me today, actually.
Especially because it's so close, you know, like...
Yeah, and I'm just the sort of guy, like, the car is literally it's the thing that occupies my mind the most, other than my friends and family, and just more or less the well-being of my family. So obviously I'm the man of the house. That's any man of the house, that's his main priority, making sure family is on lock. So although other than that, cars are what occupy my mind the most. Like, I'm addicted, like it's a sickness for sure.
It is, yeah.
But I haven't even really thought about doing anything. I'm waiting on a tax bill from my business from last year, and you have injuries and you have time off and you get sick and you make dumb decisions because you're just a dumb fucking boilermaker. You're just dealing with it, eh? So it's just a lot of people are doing it tough, man, eh? So which, it's good to try and support. Like, that's where the Australian stuff sort of comes into it. Like, if you've got to wait another 2, 3, 4 weeks to buy something that you really, really like, that's, I'm the sort of guy that will just wait and save the money or do the extra, bit of work or what have you, Like, I believe in it.
Yeah.
We're all going to have to pull through this, man. Like, it's tough and it's sad.
Yeah,
It
agreed.
really is.
It's, we said it earlier this morning. We had a similar conversation this morning for just the cost of living and whatever. And we're quite lucky. It doesn't feel it when you're looking at your account and, whatever, there's no money there or whatever. But you and I think we should be very grateful for the positions that we are in. We've got good, stable jobs behind us, and we do earn a modest income. There are a lot of people out there that don't have that luxury, and my heart goes out to those people because it certainly wouldn't be easy. The cost of rent is fucking wild.
Yeah, it's a housing crisis.
But like I say, at the same time, it's my mortgages has gone up like $850 odd a fortnight. If you had told me 18 months ago, 2 years ago, like, hey, you're going to have to come up with an extra $850 a fortnight, I would have laughed at you and said, oh, that ain't going to happen. But you adapt and overcome. It means you cancel that streaming service. It means you lower your level of insurance. It means that you don't buy that part. It means you don't go out for that dinner, like there's all these sacrifices that you got to make just to make ends meet. And
that's the threshold that I'm sort of starting to hit now, because I'm just like I'm making some of the best money I've ever made, like good money. We're a single. I'm a little bit different to Jeff. I'm a single, like, we're single income, and that's how I like it. My wife fucking does everything. She's the most amazing woman I know. Like, she's got it all on lock, and she looks after my boys and everything like that. And that's how we've planned it. But a single income with what we've got going on these days, it can only go so far. So you think, like, fuck, where's all the money going? It's, trying to feed your family with good food that's not full of shit. Stuff like that. It all adds up. But then, like, all these, I've got so many things coming out that I've just forgotten about, Like all these direct debits, and it all adds up, You got $70 here, 50 there, fucking 10 here, 20 there. It all starts adding up, and so I've got to start looking at some of that stuff for sure. As we all do, and it's only going to get worse. But,
it is. It is a thing, though. Like, you can definitely see a lot of project cars coming up on the market. And and look, if you're in a good position, or if you've been waiting to buy something and you got a bit of money burning a hole in your pocket, just hold off a little bit longer, because you probably are going to pick up a bargain, sadly.
If you go back through to one of the first episodes, I've said this fucking well over 6 months ago, there are going to be deals to be had for sure. Like, it's going to be a buyer's market for sure.
And neither of us are going to be able to capitalise.
No, but I'm cool with that. Cool with that. I would really like to get the car ready for motivation, though. It'd be good to get a bit of a crew there. I'd
Yeah.
like to get probably your ute there again. It'd be sick to get your car kind of like I mean, it's not going to be.
We
running
could
and
put it
rolling.
together as a roller. Like, it'll have no interior, but we can just have it together with the bumpers on it and the wheels on it and stuff like that. And it'd just be a really neat. I'll put like the grill on and the lights in and all that sort of stuff, the glass in and all that sort of stuff. So we could just have the car sitting there as like a work in progress, so you can come and check it out.
It'd be sick to get it there anyway, but I'd like to get this there tuned up and sort of, good to go. But
Doing its
we'll
thing.
just see how we go. Like, honestly, man, it's just I haven't even really. I've thought about a couple of things. There's a few things I want to do to it that are going to cost me fuck all. I just need time.
The stupid thing is we're in September now, so motivation really isn't that far away.
I don't know where the year's gone, man.
Yeah,
It's
before
crazy.
you know it, we'll be having to put our entry in and figuring out, where we're going to camp and all that sort of shit. So we've probably got to fucking pull our finger out.
Yeah, I think Mix XY will be ready, won't it?
Yep, yeah. So
hopefully, the Chaser, we'll get that there, hopefully.
Yep.
Hopefully get mine there, get yours there, or both of yours there. Steve with the VP, hopefully he'll come along.
Yep.
Maybe
So we might
Rob
actually have
with the tonneau. It'd be good to get like a bit of a crew. That'd be quite good to
that would
get
be
a crew to represent.
Yep. I'd look forward to that. That'd be wicked.
Yeah.
And then you could all come and join us and we can all party together.
Yeah. That's one thing. It's a party. It definitely was a party.
Yeah.
That's good.
Damn,
Are we
it's
listening
good.
to another one, Jeff?
Yeah, we got one more. Let's do that.
Hey boys, Andrew here from the Gold Coast. I sponsor the Winging It Motorsport boys, spray paint a couple of their cars. They're preferably burnout cars. So my question is, I was wondering, would you guys ever build a strictly burnout car? Holden motor, 5 litre, a stroker, something like that. Yeah, just wondering. Cheers, fellas.
Shout out to Andrew. Classic lacquer, I believe. I do follow the Winging It Motorsports boys.
Legends, a lot of them.
Absolutely. And they get behind us, so we absolutely get behind them. Would we ever build a strictly burnout car? Now, I'll never say never. It's funny how we always get these burnout questions.
I would.
I'll never say never.
We've got enough shit laying around.
But this is the thing, though. If we can perpetuate our own little future, we keep putting out this great content and the channel grows, we manage to find a couple of sponsors or whatever, and you end up in that Aussie Cletus sort of situation, which would obviously not be Cletus level because we don't have the population for it. But we've got the street cars, we've got a drag car, like we're kicking goals with all those sorts of things. If all of those boxes are ticked and then you need something else to generate content, because at the end of the day, you just got to keep feeding the beast. If this becomes something that you do for a living, let's just talk in dreamland, right? If this is something you do for a living, you've got to keep pushing that content out. And if you've done everything you've got to do with the other things, that would be a thing that you'd have to do. You know what I mean?
Or you realise that burnout's sort of one of the most popular
Yeah.
things going, and you just hit that first to get the views and get the things going, because it'd be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Not pretty easy, but
No.
there's not much to it. You
No.
just need an engine. You just need a driveline in a car.
And it doesn't have to be that good either, because let's be honest, carnage is what gets the most views. So if you could justify it, or if you could afford it, you just build something that like fails spectacularly a couple of times because it makes a really good thumbnail and it makes a really good reel, and that's how you get out there. But I mean, our passion for you and our passion is in street cars predominantly. Street strip cars is our thing. If you can drive it on the street and you can run a ripper time at the track, that's where our passion really is. But that's not to say that if we've got that on lock in the fleet that we wouldn't build a burnout car. If we did build a burnout...
I'm coming around to it more like
Yeah.
just having something that you give less of a fuck about,
Yeah.
in a way. I think it'd be fun, and it doesn't have to just do burnouts. More of like an events car.
Yeah, a
that-
party
that-
car.
That does so basically an events car that's not turboed,
Yeah.
you can do burnouts in, basically. I would never skid a turbocharged car. It's just not what I would do.
Yeah. So what combo would you run with?
Engine combo or car and engine combo? Because first thing, as soon as my brain goes straight to
Lynchy.
a smaller vehicle purely because the engine, like the smaller the vehicle, but not too small as well, especially not for burnouts or racing, because once you get a small wheelbase, like too small of a wheelbase, it just becomes a head fuck. But you don't want full weight shit because it's hard to move it. It's hard to move it. It's hard to get tyre speed and all the rest of it. So something smaller is just where my brain goes.
Yeah.
Might not be the smartest way, but it's where my brain goes. Something smaller, or if not that, at least first generation. Or the other way I like is third generation that never, like something that never really had a 5 litre in it, putting it in it that wasn't supposed to have. I've even thought about buying like a fucking one of those ugly ass. What's the latest Commodore they brought out that was never actually...
the ZB.
Like something like that, and just putting a stinky 5 litre in one of them pieces of shit, and just... Because I would never, ever have a single bit of respect for one of those things.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, but as far as engines go, it's really the oiling, I think, is the main thing you need to worry about. If you've got a stable drivetrain and you can fucking keep the oil from filling up your rocker covers, you're going great. Like Mondo... If you ever seen Mondo's car, I think he brought that over to the WA at one point, didn't he? I don't know if Mondo did or if I'm getting his car mixed up with the other one, but I think he did, eh?
Yeah, okay.
The VK. But either way, Mondo's VK that he had, that thing was on song, so...
Yeah.
Some
8,000 odd RPM.
Yeah, lots of revs and just control the oil. It's hard work.
So you're committing to the 5 litre in that as well?
Well, he said, yeah...
Well, we asked, would it be a 5 litre or would it not? You know, like, I think if I was going to do it, I'd do a small block chef. Just because parts availability.
Yeah, but he said a Holden V8 skid car, would you ever do
No,
it?
he asked, would it be? Like, what would you build? Would it be? You
Yeah.
know?
If we were trying to actually compete, I probably wouldn't. Unless we sort of... And it all comes down to money, really.
Yeah.
Really, if we had sort of the funds freed up, I would love to take a Holden to the top of everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's hard.
If I was going to do it,
it'd be cool to do like a Mechie injected, blown Holden combo. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be a lot.
You can tell I've had too many of these at that point.
Yeah, I was like mech injected, blown Holden.
No, I think something small, like to start off with. As an events car, not necessarily just burnout. Something that's still got enough power, you can do some power skids and just not care too much about it.
Yeah. Something kind of like McFry style, something that you can sort of take out to power cruise and you can drift and you can power skid and you can burn out and you can sort of do all the things with it. Yeah. That if I was going to build one, that's probably what it would be as well, yeah. But I reckon I'd do a small block chef for that kind of thing. I think it'd just be very well suited. Don't know if...
It'd still cost you more than an LS combo, though.
Yeah.
And probably not be that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
I reckon it would be. That's why everyone does it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. But I don't know. I'd like to do that.
What do you reckon the minimum you could get away with
for
a Holden V8? Because that's the way I heard it. It was sort of like a Holden V8
yeah.
car.
Well, I mean, you could do it with... a good stock crank, rods, like you'd have to get some aftermarket rods, aftermarket pistons. You'd run a CNC program through some cast heads. You'd need a good intake manifold of some description. It'd probably be a Harrop single plane or whatever. You'd want compression in it for sure. Like probably not too much, but maybe if you went, say, 12.5 to 1 and run it on E85, that'd probably be a good starting point. You could obviously run... Yeah. Or if you do it, or you could do that and you can go like 13 to 1, 14 to 1, really sort of give it some extra pep. Solid roller, I think, would have to be a necessity, which obviously means a lot of valve train maintenance, but I think, solid roller would be the thing for sure.
It's tricky, because you want to invest in the top end.
Yeah.
But you don't want to invest so much in the top end that when the bottom end gets upset...
It fucks all the top end.
There's potential to fuck the top end. So it's a balancing act there.
Yeah.
Because burnouts, like, what is harder on an engine than fucking just burnouts, really? Like, there's not much. Really.
We got to think like endurance racing, like NASCAR and shit like that. Those things are hanging big RPM for a long, long time. that kind of thing, you know, I think that's why those R5 P7 Dodge engines, there's a couple kicking around. Aiden Stampali is just putting one in his Tirana. I think that's why they've become a good idea, you know, because that's what it's built for. It's built to just hang 8,000 RPM for like a whole day.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't really have the circle track bitumen stuff, but I guess you could relate that to like the 410 or the 360 style sprint car stuff like that. It'd be fairly well loaded up as well, I would assume. And funny you say that because I'm sure, what's his name? I don't know what his full name is, which I really should. I should be embarrassed, but happy with the HQ Ute that we ran into.
Oh, Mark Williams.
Mark Williams.
Yeah.
I think that's what he had. I'm not sure. I'm sure it was a 410 sprint car engine that he put like a Holly Sniper on, and that was his burnout combination. He said it worked really good. So
yeah, I could see that working. Yeah, and you can pick those up on the second-hand market for not an obscene amount of money. You know, like compared to building an engine, if you get one, say from a top team that's got 2 spare engines or whatever, and they're moving to a new platform. You pick one up for a decent price, and that'd probably be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Value for money.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I think there was a time when you could pick up one of those NASCAR engines for about 18 grand landed.
and if you listen to how much they used to spend to develop those things, they had just rooms and rooms and rooms of engines running on the dyno non-stop, just testing valve train stuff.
Yeah.
Because the
Chasing 5 horsepower.
Or fucking chasing 0.5 horsepower.
Yeah.
Like every little bit counts. So, but yeah, getting back to reality there. A 5 litre with a bit of comp and some cam would probably be a good start, and a car that's not too heavy.
It'd probably
and then you could build from that.
Yeah, and it'd probably be carby as well, just for simplicity.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, the Holly shit's pretty cheap these days
Yeah,
and works
you're
really
right.
good. So like,
Yeah.
shit, like if you think about it, I have no idea, zero idea what you would pay for a car. I've never fucking looked for a carby in my entire life.
About $1,200.
Yeah, what's a fucking Holly like? That new Sniper 2, mate. You might want to. It might not be shit. It's probably not shit like the first Sniper.
Yeah. That was.
Get one of those and fucking see how you go.
Yeah. Yep.
I probably wouldn't do that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Some EFI, maybe.
Yeah.
Although a methanol carby.
Methanol carb, yeah. I reckon that'd be the go, just for simplicity. Just run a line up, fucking boom, done. You know, like, and really, how hard is the tuning going to be when you're at wide open? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like your drivability tuning has to be any good because it's a burnout car. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, we've been poking Mick though. To get
to
on
do
the
EFI.
Holly, just to close out.
I think he's pretty keen.
Yeah.
The XY.
So we've got a group chat, me, Jeff, and Mick, and I mean, it's no secret that you and I are Holden guys, and I'm not very well versed in much at all. I sort of just like this stuff and some other bits and pieces, but XEs.
Oh, yes.
XEs.
That has.
I used to hate all that boxy Ford shit. I still don't really get around many of the other ones like the XFs and XDs and stuff like that, but the XEs, I'm getting around them.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'm getting around the blokes.
Yeah.
There
has been a dramatic increase in the posting of XEs in that group chat.
But so Mick's he keeps threatening that we're going to do a Godzilla XE, but I kind of want to just see him just spend some more money on the XY, really. If he could I'd like to see like some tubs and some worlds and some Holly EFI and just sort of get that to its potential. I think that's a better move.
I think so too, yeah.
So you never know. We'll never know what it looks like by the time we get it to motivation. We might have some fuel injection on it. Maybe.
We'll see how we go. Not. I think he's just fled the country, actually. He's just, he's gone on holiday to Spain.
Yes. And the car's still at the panel bays, isn't it?
Getting the engine bay done, yeah. Which that should be done by the time he gets home. And I bet you he's done nothing about the polishing polishing or painting anything that he was going to do, so that'll have to happen before the engine goes back in. But
he's got some sweet billet hinges from Bliss Custom Machining, which we put him onto. So I'm keen to actually see it all the little. I think there's a chip fixed or a couple of chips and fix the bonnet. Like
Yeah.
Joe does a great job as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it'd be good to see that. That thing will be in the best form it's ever been in. I think anyway.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and I know it's worth a pinch of salt, but I think the wheels are the only thing holding that car back at this point.
Yeah.
Because they're a very generic wheel. They're like the Simmons on this. They're
Yeah.
very generic.
You put something really nice on there
Yeah.
and it really set it off.
I'd love to see, like I said, your Welds, Bill of Specialties,
Yeah.
Kaisers, something. That I reckon that would top it off.
Yeah. Enemies.
Enemies would probably be my first choice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. It's all well and good when it's not your wallet, I guess.
Yes, that's it.
But we've got the same dreams for our own shit. Anyway, we've been banging on long enough.
Well and true.
Yeah, we've gone well over
No one's listened this
1.5 hours now.
No
but
one's listened this far.
thanks, Andrew. Shout out to Classic Lacquer. Thanks for your question, mate.
Yeah.
And letting us go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, check them out, man. And check out the other boys, all their socials and stuff.
Winging It
Winging It
Motorsports.
Motorsports. They've got a podcast as well that they're involved with now, haven't they? What's that one called?
Idle Talk, I think it's called.
I mean, every man and his dog's doing a podcast now, so it's
Seems
good.
like it, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to listen to some different people and
Yep.
things and stuff.
For sure. Make sure torqhub.com.au, you get around that and you get your pre-order in before the 13th of September, because that will be the cutoff if you want to get one of those sick new Pick Your Poison t-shirts, or a white or a black Torq Hub tee, one of our new, we're wearing one of our
Yes.
new embroidered Torq Hub logo caps, or anything else that's on there. We've got a couple of bits and bobs. torqhub.com.au, and you can also go there to send us a voice message.
Yeah, let us know what you think of the design, even if you don't buy one. Let us know
Yeah.
what you think. I'm keen to see. Like, we think it's great, but, it's just me and you here at
Yeah.
this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Fuck. Those poor suckers.
Yeah, so, no, we appreciate all the support, and, we love hearing from you guys.
Yep.
We love seeing the comments on the videos.
Yep. Speaking of videos, we'll finish one up tomorrow. Like I say, that will come out shortly after this one, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And we'll be trying to get some more progress happening on the wagon this month.
Yeah, for sure. We'll try and get another good drive at it. I think, Jeff, it's what it needs.
Yeah.
And then once we get this sort of fabricated, we'll ship down to your place, and we might start fucking around with a turbo kit for the VY Ute.
Yep.
And might even finish an exhaust on this and rip some intakes off and do all that sort of cool, fun stuff.
There's no shortage of work to be done.
That's it. I just need to stop procrastinating, and we'll be laughing. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Even if you're not watching or listening on your favourite podcast app, your second favourite podcast app, that's okay too.
We'll catch you on the next one. Make sure share it with your friends.
See you guys.